Hello and welcome to part 1 of InspecT demo series. I'm Sanjay, and in this video session we're going to go through the following points. We'll start off with a quick introduction about InspecT. We'll look at how to build test cases and scenarios. We'll execute a scenario and see the test automation in action. And towards the end, we'll explore a few test execution reports. Right. InspecT is an integrated testing platform. It provides a collaborative environment for business experts, product specialists, as well as technical testers. InspecT has an inbuilt test management tool using which we'll be able to build test cases and scenarios for any business domain. It also has an automation framework that enables us to execute the tests without manual intervention. InspecT is a generic tool and can be used to automate testing of any web-based application. I've built InspecT using Java and I've packaged it as an Eclipse plugin. The diagram in this slide conceptualizes the scenario being covered in today's demo. So we have InspecT installed as a standalone Eclipse plugin, runs from my laptop, and we are going to build a scenario to test loan calculators available in different banking websites. Let's take a look at a sample loan calculator. The way these calculators work is that you key in a loan amount, specify the interest rate, number of payments, and when we hit the submit button, the calculator returns the repayment amount. Now this is what we're going to automate using InspecT. The tool would automatically inject data, submit the query, and compare the output with an expected value defined within InspecT. Let's automate this using InspecT. What we're seeing now is a test case designer. We can see an auto-generated case reference, description, and a section where we add events. Events are nothing but steps that are to be executed within a test case. For adding events, I'm launching an Explorer and applying a filter criteria. We can now see events that are specific to our test case. To add the events to our test case, we'll select the events, drag and drop. Building a test case is that simple. In a separate video, I'm going to talk about the different events that are available within InspecT. Let's take a quick look at these two events. The first step is an input event, and this is where we're telling InspecT, go to this URL and inject that data. The second step is a condition event, and this is where we define check if the result matches the defined value. So here we expect the calculator to return an EMI of the defined value. Let me close these two events and save the test case. Our test case is ready for execution. This test case focuses on one loan calculator. The objective in this demo is to test different loan calculators. In order to do that, we'll have to create a test scenario. What we're seeing now is a test scenario designer. We can see scenario reference, description, a section where we can add test cases, and a section that gives us summary information. To add test cases within this scenario, let's launch the Explorer view, drag and drop the test cases within the scenario. Here we can basically order the sequence of test execution based on the business need. Let's save the scenario. Now the objective of this scenario is to test 4 different loan calculators and generate a consolidated test output. Okay, so now let's execute this scenario and see the test automation in action. So when I hit the execute button, you can see a thread being spawned and a browser session is being opened. And in a little while, test cases will start executing one by one. We'll be able to see that InspecT is opening different calculators, injecting data, and as and when the test case is complete, we'll be able to see a real-time status update. We'll also be able to see performance statistics such as the time test case started, when it got completed, and the total time in seconds. The indication in green conveys that all events of the test case has been completed and have been successfully passed. The indication in red conveys that one of the events within the test case has failed. Now, all the test cases have been executed successfully. So let's save the scenario. We can now see test execution summary by selecting the test case and hitting that button. The execution summary presents event-wise test output. We can see that both the events in this test case have been passed and the expect and actual values are equal. Let's look at a failure case. If we look at this execution summary, we can see that the first two events have passed. The expected and actuals are equal. We are exactly able to pinpoint the event that has failed, and in this case, the interest amount validation has failed because the expected and actual values are different. If I select this icon here, we can see the screenshot taken during the time of test execution. Let me close the screenshot. So the test execution summary gives us event-wise test output. We can also see a consolidated test output. Test results from this scenario will be exported into a PDF file. A consolidated test report will be generated on the fly. So here we can see summary as well as detailed execution reports. If you're not a big fan of lengthy PDF files, then you can change the style of export to charts. If I relaunch the export button now, we can see a dashboard with customizable charts. These are interactive charts, which means that I can select and see the index values. Okay, so let's recap what we saw in today's session. So in this session, we saw what is InspecT and how to build test cases and scenarios. We executed a scenario and saw a few test execution reports. With that, it brings us to the end of the session. If you have any queries, drop me an email. For more info about the tool, have a look at my website. Thanks for watching.